We're live.
All
Here
right.
we are, live on a Tuesday special.
Hello,
Got my
world.
very good friend of mine, Scott. Please tell everyone who doesn't know what you do and what we're doing here today, bud.
Well, honored to be back on the Boneyard with you, TJ.
Thank
I'm
you.
Scott Dispel, coming to you straight from Lake Erie, the Cleveland side of Lake Erie. And we've been in the studio for the last 9 hours, and I'm happy to announce we finished all the vocals for our new album, Inferno. So super excited
Yeah,
and
man.
perfect timing to kick it back and chill with you at the Boneyard.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm honored to. You guys literally just finished that today or yesterday?
Like, no, like actually like 10 minutes ago. And then I was like, I got an
No.
interview at 7. Like,
Oh
we got to
wow,
get
man.
this happening. So,
Yeah.
it's for our upcoming album, Inferno. And I got a nice little
Yeah, bust that
picture
out.
here. This is what the album cover will look like.
Oh, that's sick, man.
And it's,
Oh, I'm so excited. What an exclusive. Here we are, 7 minutes, 10 minutes after the album was finished. Wow, thank
literally,
you. Yeah.
you know.
So that actually took a bit. She had to fly back from South Africa, or
So, our singer Raven C, she just got her master's in music therapy. So she went down to South Africa to complete it. So actually she's literally writing her thesis right now. Like, I'm on the air and she's like, I gotta go write my thesis because it's due.
yeah.
So yeah, we're like multitasking. And so she flew over from South Africa to catch up with family. And then while she was here, it just worked out perfect. You know, she made a detour, came up to Cleveland, and we just knocked out the album. And then tomorrow is a promo day. So we're going to
Oh
do a
yeah.
photo shoot. We're going to shoot a couple videos, and we're going to shoot a live video of a full set that we're going to premiere on May 22nd, which is World
Oh,
Goth Day. And we're going to do it with other bands we're on, and the label's Broken Sound Tapes, and the compilation's called Unearthed. So it's a bunch of goth and dark wave bands. So we're going to host the concert, and we're going to have it on the Twitch platform,
oh
and
no.
it's going to be World Goth Day. So yeah.
Oh, that's fucking huge, man. That's exciting.
Yeah,
Like, what
looking.
else? Like with having the new album come out in the times that we're in now, it's not like you can just go throw on a show or whatever. So that's pretty amazing how you organize and got all that set up to be released on Goth Day and having all the bands come in. So when you do this, we find you on Twitch then? Like, I guess you'll have notifications come up and stuff, right?
Yeah, I'll post it all over our Facebook. And I
Mm-hmm.
say we got some Facebook people, so I want to send a shout out to Mary, Kevin, and Max Me. So that's awesome.
Oh, Maximum, yeah, he's one of our good
Maximum.
buddies from Montreal.
Oh, that's
Mary's from
cool.
Montreal too, I believe.
Oh, awesome. Yeah,
Buddy
our
Kevin's a
Twitch.
good fan.
Yeah, there's our Twitch is Dispel_music, which we try to do everything on that
Yeah.
for like that underscore to put between the music, so your name's legal.
Yeah,
So
yeah. True, right? So this is an independent. You guys are a completely independent artist on this, are you not?
yeah, we're self-funded, and to be honest with you, it kind of sucks, but yeah, what can you do, you know?
hmm
I think the industry has changed so much over the years. It's like you have to make waves, and any like important labels or producers or promoters, they have to hear about you before they even give you the time of day, which I understand makes sense. So,
Yeah.
we're here grinding away. It's just I've been grinding away for 30 years. So it's like,
I hear you,
all
man.
right, let's grind some more.
Yeah,
And it's I guess
it's paying
there's a
off.
saying like if you're not tempered enough, then you need to be tempered some more. So that's what we're
No, it's
doing.
true, right? You got to keep going. Like your passion lies obviously with the music. you really hear it in the songs that I have heard by you guys. So, and I'll have my new equipment because of everything that's going on. I haven't been able to get into the studio, right, to get these tracks out and send them on over. But my equipment should be in May 5th is when it will be. Everything's ordered and in. It'll take the guy another day or two to assemble it all for me, and then another week I'll get those tracks over to you, man, while you're just chilling and shooting music videos, and you can just chuck down some drum beats for me. That'd be pretty sweet, man.
Yeah, I'm sure I could knock out a song for you. I know Jason's asked me to do a song too.
Oh,
So I
nice, eh?
told him, yeah, just let me get caught up with Dispel here and get this album
Yeah,
produced, and then I'm be more than happy to lay down some drum tracks.
yeah, no doubt, right? So what else do you guys got in the works then? Like, you have the album coming out real soon. You have the video shoots you're saying too. So when are you hoping the videos come out? Like within the right with the release of the album, or will they be just kind of spread out throughout time here?
You know, it's a good question. We're still kind of figuring that out. The idea was to do a animated music video and
Hmm.
release it like just prior to the album, and then like the budget did not work out. The animated video turned out to be a lot more expensive than we had anticipated, and we're actually trying to figure out how to fund the album still. So we're kind of
Hmm.
toying with the idea of maybe doing a Kickstarter or some type of crowdfunding thing. I'm not really familiar with that, so I'm gonna have to kind of do some research on it and see if it's a worthy endeavor. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I know it's weird to actually animation, like especially with the way computer graphics work and stuff now, you just pull and click, how expensive it still is to just go out with a camcorder and shoot you and your buddies in front of the forest jamming, right? Like to bring the
now that we're
idea
pretty,
to life, right? Like the way you
yeah,
want it.
yeah. Well, all the videos we're gonna be shooting are just total guerrilla style, nothing fancy.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be we're doing it ourselves,
The old
with the help of some
camcorder on the
friends.
corner, like that you hold on
Yeah,
your
and if you can see
shoulder,
in the
right?
background, I got a camcorder back there, and
Yeah.
we're gonna do some low key guerrilla style stuff. There's one thing about Cleveland, there's these gorgeous cathedrals in Cleveland for some reason,
Hmm.
and so we're gonna do guerrilla style and take pictures and film around them, and most of them are closed because of the pandemic,
Yeah,
so I
correct,
couldn't get
right.
access inside any of them. But we're gonna try, and, we'll
Yeah,
do a guerrilla style, and that's just how we roll because,
uh, that would
that's
fit
part of
really
being
good with
self-taught.
your style of music being that goth and D&D and the old school legends in that aspect, right? That would be actually fantastic if you could get into those churches.
Yeah, I love the imagery and artwork, and anything medieval just,
Hmm.
resonates with me, so we really tried to incorporate that element into the band, so hence the new album, Inferno, is
Yeah,
influenced by
Dante's, right?
Dante's Inferno.
Hmm.
So, I read Dante's Inferno, and I literally filled a notebook worth of notes and lyrics, and, "Oh, this'll make good lyrics," and, so we did a song for each circle of hell and added some personalities to it from Dungeon and Dragons, and,
Nice.
it's been a project. We've been working on it for just under 2 years, and, yeah, we just can't wait to get it out there and share it. We think it's something special, and, the difficult part is the marketing. Marketing is so much harder than the music, and
Oh,
it's
it's
like,
unbelievable how hard it is. Actually, my buddy Ryan, one of the guys I live with, he's like, you got to market yourself. I'm like, I don't even. I'm having a hard enough time pushing bands and making sure they get their name out and stuff,
yeah,
But he's right on that end to learn. He's like, you should go back and learn marketing and stuff. Maybe go back and get another degree that I don't use.
alright. Yeah, it's
Now,
hard. Well, this is marketing here. What you're doing is marketing, so it's like, we're honored to be on here because it helps the cause.
yeah. Oh, you guys, it's an honor to have you guys on. As I said, I've been a big fan of you guys for a while, and I've touch base. I was actually supposed to come and interview you guys 2 years ago. I was on my big road trip or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, things didn't pan out or whatever the way my trip worked out. But I'm just glad this is your second time on the show now, and you're always welcome. You know that, right?
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah.
So
Well, we like to have something interesting to talk about when we sit with you. So,
yeah.
you know, but it's important for us to make like our friends and our fans feel like they're part of like our family and part of the journey and
Hmm.
part of the creation process. So we really try to like incorporate them and hey, here's some behind the scenes footage, here's some bloopers, here's what we're working on now. Um, and I guess that's part of marketing too. So it's been a work in progress trying to figure out, how to share what we're doing, you
Yeah.
know, apart from just the finished product. Like here's the music, but
Here's
like
the
how did we
album.
get here?
Hmm. No, you're actually showing the step by step in that aspect, right? Like here, this is how we got to here. This is how, because I know as a kid growing up, I just thought you fucking made a tape or a CD and now you're famous. You gave it to the radio station and that was it, right? I've never had radio play, not
Yeah,
once with any of my
yeah,
music. So,
yeah.
are you guys being played on your local stations and stuff right now, or?
No, we're not getting any local stuff. The first album, when we did the first album, Lore, I actually hired a publicist from Canada, Shauna from Shameless Promotions,
Hmm.
and she does a lot of big bands, and we got a bunch of airplay and some really good press, like postpunk.com and like some legit, press. So we got really good
Hmm.
reviews and like the big magazine in Holland and Amsterdam gave us a 10 out of 10. But it was really hard to convert those people into like followers, though. You know what I mean?
Yes,
It,
they have
it
your
almost felt
CD
like,
now. They know of you,
right,
but they're not watching the page or watching this or that in that sense, eh?
right. And they may be, but it's like, they're not active. There's like a handful of followers that are really
Hmm.
active. So I post something and they respond to it. We comment and they'll shoot me messages and stuff. Um, I know we have a really strong following in the UK, and then Germany's picking up, and then we're getting some fans in Poland and Italy. Um, and that was really my goal was all about like Europe and stuff and Canada
Yeah,
because the US is so hit or miss with music. Um, it's
it's
not like
true
in
though.
Germany. Yeah. So,
Like
and plus
hit
I've
and
been
miss.
playing
Like,
music in this. Go ahead.
oh no, I was just gonna say, with hit and miss in the States, like there's always some kind of gimmick or this Hollywood flash to it and stuff. Like you never those bands never last very long in that sense. Like they have 3, 4 fucking years of good music and then they just fall off the wagon because it's not
Yeah.
legit, you know. But when you get over like Germany, especially Germany, the UK, even Sweden and stuff or Switzerland and stuff too, they go to that venue. It's not so much the band that's there, it's the venue, right? They have loyalties to that. And then when they see that amazing band like yourselves play at that venue, they'll remember that for life and they're fans for life now. We don't so much have that over here, that loyalty in that sense, I find, right?
Yeah, it's weird. I can't explain it, but I think it's probably a
No,
cultural thing.
it's
But
got to
yeah,
be, eh?
definitely. I had the honor of touring Europe like back in '94, and like every show just blew me away. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. And so for the last, you know, 30 years, I've been trying to get back to that point in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully this gets us there. And then the pandemic hit, and we were supposed to tour Germany with a band
That's
called
right.
Attrition, which is like an old goth band. And then the founder of that band, Martin Bose, he does our mastering, and he's in the UK. And so yeah, like touring's up in the air, so it's like everything's just internet based, I guess.
Yeah,
So again,
I
that's why
know
the
it's hard.
marketing's
Like,
so important.
especially on my end, like I personally prefer to come right to you. Like I'll drive down to fucking Cincinnati or Arizona or Mexico to sit and actually have these conversations with you in person, right? right now we've had to restructure everything, like how I do everything. It was totally starting from scratch again, almost in that sense,
Yes.
right? Like you guys are almost doing have all the bands are almost having to do the same now. They can't get out to those bars and play, and it's going to be it opens up. I don't know. I'm hit and miss on what's going to happen. Right? There's going to be some bands that are just going to take right off because they're ready. They've been prepared. Right? There's other bands that haven't done shit. They haven't jammed together. It's going to be weird.
Yeah, speaking of bands, I see my friend Jamie just checked in. He's from Valkyrie X. They're a strong local act. They've
Oh
got
no way!
a female fronted band too. Another female
No way!
fronted band.
Huh? That's I, I don't know. I seem to be able to find that. A friend of mine commented that the other day. She says like 90% of your bands have a female singer in the band. It's like,
That's
so I
awesome.
started going back through and thinking about it. Like, I don't think about that, right? Next thing I know, it's like, yeah, you're pretty well right. So if you want, share the link up with him if he wants. He can jump in for tonight.
And then I see we got Amanda and Sarah. Kevin's still kicking it with us. That's
Right?
awesome. It's like we can't do this without fans and support, or
No.
else we're just playing to ourselves to these styrofoam walls, the sound
Yeah.
absorbing walls.
No doubt, right?
But you made a good point. Like with the pandemic, it's like, and I almost feel like the same thing happened back like in 2008. Like our economy really tanked
Mm,
and a lot of businesses failed. And I think that's going to be the case with bands now. Like the bands that are really solid and have a good foundation should be able, hopefully, to plow through this. But like the
yeah.
bands that aren't so much, if they're not broke already, they're going to be struggling. Well, we're all broke. We're all
Yeah,
starving
yeah,
musicians,
yeah.
but
I wear the same sweater every day, man. But yeah, it's just the way it goes in that sense, I guess. Like I'm, as you know, I don't know. I've already talked to you, I think, about the festival, have I not?
you mentioned it briefly.
Yeah. So we have broke ground now. We have the complete festival area cleared out, leveled out now. We're just clearing out the pathways and the parking and all that is being taken care of now. We're working on the campsites for the bands to stay and stuff. So that will 2022. Obviously, I want to wait, build it this year, make sure everything's good for next year. But that's definitely a place you guys are more than welcome to come and play. So we'll definitely be in touch about that and see what's
Okay,
going
so
on, right?
what's the gist? Are you thinking like it's a weekend deal or what?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe if the bands could show up, some of the local guys could come the Wednesday. People like yourselves, and then a few other bands. I almost mentioned them, but I can't just yet. Would they're coming in? So maybe if they come in Thursdays, as you guys roll in, we do the sound checks and set everybody up, and then Friday afternoon open the doors, and then Saturday night have like Saturday during the day, like a full Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of deal is what we're aiming for right now, right? So
I like it.
yeah, so you guys
That's
would come down, right? What you guys are at the outer towners, so if you could make it on the Thursday or whatever, we do your setup, and then you're free to go for the weekend, hang out. We have a little private VIP section for you guys with the pool and all that, and we got some surprises for the bands, like sit and chill backstage, like because you're camping, we can't put you in a hotel and shit, but we've got a pretty nice spot for you guys to be camping at. So all your food and stuff, right? So it's gonna be pretty good. We're working the details out every week. Like I think Wednesday, what's today? Tuesday. So tomorrow, if it's not piss and rain on us, I'll be staking out where the and how big the stage is gonna be and to get the full details on that and then get the blueprints drawn up and hopefully within the next 2 weeks we're digging holes and starting to build it. So
wow, okay. And then this would be a spot where you would use in the future and things like
oh,
that?
100%. If everything
Okay.
goes like better than planned in the fall, we'd have like a little private show. Hopefully, have some bands. But come next year, obviously, we'll have like weekends where local bands can come. If you guys are already on tour in the area, feel free to stop by. We'll make sure we have some tickets and sorry, you know what I mean, and
Oh,
kind of
that's
make it an
cool.
all
Yeah.
year thing, kind of an investment as far as myself and the people that are involved to make it a yearly. Because I believe after all this, all our local pubs, everything's kind of gone. And then how do you have people inside again? Real tight quarters. So I'm
Yeah.
betting my money on outdoor festivals. So that's where I'm kind of investing as far as being a promoter and someone that gets music out there for people. Why not have a stage for you to fucking play on too, right? So
And then if you line up some concessions and stuff, that'd
yeah,
be awesome.
yeah, we actually just landed our deal with some sea bins. We just did a little exchange for work here, work there, and now we got some sea bins coming on. So they'll line up and be for our vendors. So they'll have like an indoor space in case it's raining. All their shit's inside, nothing gets ruined. Have the band section over here, right? Food vendor there. So we've been planning. I've been planning and designing this for probably fucking 6 years now, right? So I've now finally secured funding and secured the land, property, the whole deal. So now it's just a matter of doing the actual physical labor now. So,
Yeah.
because we're building it all like ourselves, right? Like we're all construction. It's not like we're just slapping this plywood deck together, man. Like we went and got a
Built
mill.
crazy.
Like we're milling all the lumber. It's going to be built by hand with all the passion that we put into our music. You're going to, you'll feel it when you walk into that stage, you know. I'm excited.
I like the entrepreneurial spirit.
Yes, thank you, man. I don't like working for people even though I do every day, right? This way it's kind of a retirement plan for me, right? It's
Yeah, yeah.
well, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm back to bartending right now just to make ends meet, so I can relate.
Mhm. So are you
So
guys kind of open then if you're back bartending and stuff or?
yeah, I mean, we are open. They've got a mask mandate still and the social distancing, but people really don't
Mhm.
practice social distancing.
No, no.
Just about everybody I know has got the vaccine. Um, we're just waiting on the governor, I think, to get rid of the mask mandate. But um,
Nice.
yeah, like I guess it really just depends on the ownership of the bar because some bars are packed, some aren't. Some are getting in trouble, some aren't. You just have to be
Yeah.
smart. But I like, if there's one thing about Clevelanders, they're pretty resilient when it comes to, celebrating on the weekend and drinking and being weekend warriors. We definitely don't have a shortage of those.
No, we're seeing that a lot up here with the younger, especially in our area, because I'm just north of TO, right? So a lot of forest areas. So field parties and bush parties are real big, and they're finding that to be a problem, you know. But
Which
we're
shouldn't
right
be a
on full
problem.
lockdown. So
Oh, you're still in full lockdown?
yeah, for another couple weeks, I believe. Like we even apparently have checkpoints. I haven't tested it yet at each border between Manitoba and Quebec. So like I don't know. Like it's weird. I'm. It's weird.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I
Hmm.
certainly don't want this to turn political. But
No, of
definitely it
course
seems
not.
like different states here in the US, it just depends on the governor if they're left or right. So like Florida and Texas are pretty much wide open, no
Hmm.
mask mandates,
Yeah, we
people on the
got
beach, bike week, all that stuff.
all still happening, right? Daytona Beach, fucking.
I think they put a curfew on or something for like spring break, but
Yeah,
everybody I've talked to a couple people that it came back from Florida and they're like, "No, nobody's wearing masks, everything's completely open and the economy's
yeah,
cranking away." And so it's just, it's,
yeah. It's a little
interesting times
strange.
we live in. There's a lot to navigate, and
Hmm.
it's like you really have to pay attention and be discerning on what's, like,
And
truth, what's not truth.
a
It's
huge
terrible.
problem is, especially being in the internet age now, the information that's out there could take you one way or the other, whether it's right or wrong. There's just so much information, it's hard to decipher all of it, and actually take in the proper facts about the situation you're studying, you know. So it's
Yeah.
definitely a
And
challenge.
then it becomes a like a huge distraction because it distracts you from music because it's like,
Hmm.
what is it, is my life in danger? Am I gonna get in trouble for this or trouble for
Hmm.
that? And you can't even go to a show and, hang out with your friends and have a beer and rock out and have a good time, it's pretty tough. But
Yeah, right.
I will say, the I caught a metal show a couple weeks ago and it was my buddy Jamie's band, Valkyrie X, and it was down in Canton, which is south of Akron, probably an hour south of Cleveland, and, it felt like a normal metal show. It was really cool.
Huh,
People were just hanging
nice.
out, really normal,
Yeah.
um, selling
Oh, yep.
merch, it was cool. Sound
Well,
checks, normal
I know
stuff.
July 10th. Friends of ours down in Texas cauterized. They got a big show, and I'm crossing my fingers if I can get my appointment to get shot up. I can fly there and see this show, right? Like I'm invited backstage if I can make it, right? So I'll get interviews with all the bands, be backstage and cover the whole show, right? But I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna say, whether I'm vaccinated or not, if I can go, if I prove that I do a test, you know, it's all in the air at the moment. So play it by
Yeah,
ear. I just
that's
hope
coming.
they don't bring in the vaccine passport because that doesn't sound right to me, right?
I'm sure it's coming, for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh,
It's
yeah. But so, what are you thinking for the future then with you guys as far as a band? Are you going to be now that this album's done? You know, in a couple months, you get all your videos done. You guys going to continue on? You going to make some more music or?
Well, I mean, the gist with this is, it's gonna take me 2 months probably to mix this down and
Hmm.
properly produce it, but I'll get it done. We'll crank it out, um, and I'm really gonna take a deep dive into the marketing, because, we're self-funded, and it's like if we're gonna be self-sustaining, I gotta learn how to do it properly, so,
Hmm.
the last 2 years has been a learning process with marketing and emails and social media and just getting the name out there, engaging with fans, finding our fans. Everything's DIY. It's like the punk rock days. Do it yourself.
Yeah, man. You
It
make
is
that
now.
tape and you make 30 copies of it. You pass it out to everybody and hope they pass
Mm.
it, make 20 more copies and pass it out
Yeah.
and like a spider web in a sense, eh?
Yeah, I'm gonna explore a Kickstarter. I have to do some more research on it,
Hmm.
but if we could get that for like a reasonable amount and get that funded, then we could get colored vinyl for the first time.
See,
And like
I was gonna
me
ask you about
personally,
that,
yeah,
about your
like
vinyl.
like
Because
colored
with your
vinyl, like a
record especially, I think because back in the day you'd get that vinyl and had a concept to it. The whole sort of like the album you just did, Inferno, being a concept album. You don't see that much anymore. So as you're flipping through and you're listening, and that vinyl comes with the cover, it's just so nice to lay back with the headphones on and stare at that and study it as you're listening to the music, right? You don't get that anymore. It's hard to find that. I've convinced a few bands to start doing vinyl, at least one copy just for me, right? But you know,
give me a test press.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I don't apparently vinyl's, like, outselling things
Oh,
now, like,
yeah.
vinyl's like, there's a
It's crushing
resurgence.
CDs. It's crushing
Okay.
fucking downloads. Like it's, I don't know. It's weird. Everyone I know now, when I go visit, they have a fucking record player now. It's like, huh, right on, you know. So I have one, right? So I actually have two of them, just in case, right? So,
Yeah.
but I owe that my stepdad when he first met my mother. They knew each other since school or something, and then years went by, and then they fucked their paths crossed again. He's an old hippie, right? So he had, I don't know, a record collection that would have filled this garage, right? And he was constantly a bit of a drinker back in the day, so he'd get all drunk and then blast his music at night through the records, right? And that's how I got into vinyl and actually appreciating it. And then, yeah, so if you have at least one vinyl copy, man, I'll buy that shit 100%. Have
Right
that in
on.
my collection, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to financially make this work,
Hmm.
like, we're so in debt. I can't even. I'm
Yeah.
not even gonna say numbers, but it's brutal. So
Yeah.
yeah, I got to figure out how to get this new album out there. We put so much work into it, but I don't know. I'm just trying to remain optimistic. I feel like quality's attention to detail, and
Hmm.
we put so much detail and care into this album. I think it's something special. Everybody can say that about their album. This is something special.
Hmm.
Um, but
But no, you can tell when, especially just talking to you, not even just here, just in general, when we're having our conversations as normal people, like you can really feel the passion you guys have put in to your music. It's even when you're just listening to it, you can feel that it comes across, man. And you've done a really good job on what you have so far, for sure.
I appreciate that. Well, I was fortunate to find my singer. She was a gift
Yeah,
from the universe. And then once
I
I
know
got
we
her in the mix.
we brushed on that a bit last time, but how did the band come together? Go into some detail with us tonight. That would be awesome, man.
Yeah, so like I said, ever since I used to be in this hardcore punk band called Face Value back in the day, and it did pretty well, all things considered. Like we toured Europe and toured the States, and I'm like, all right, I've got it. This is it. I'm gonna be a rock star. But the problem was the money wasn't there and I couldn't pay rent. And I was always having to sell off my possessions and then the van would break down. And
Hmm.
it's like I've been just been working, just trying to get back to that at least level of success.
Hmm.
And so finally, after working with other people in bands and they break up and egos get in the way and people can't agree, after I'm like, I'm just going to go solo. I'm going to do my own music and I'm going to nerd out and talk about Dungeons and Dragons
Yeah.
and medieval culture and Gothic cathedrals and knights in armor and just go for it. And who cares? And then, so originally it was just going to be me as a DJ slash producer writing music. And then I was like, well, I'm going to need to find some singers and some session musicians. And then I was at a drum circle at a cathedral, oddly enough. And then I met our singer and we started talking. And she's like, well, I'm a music therapist. I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. I'm like, I'm working on some music. And she's like, well, I sing. And I'm like, okay, well, let's give it a shot. So she came in
Yeah.
the studio. We wrote a song. It was called Modal Consequence, which is our first music video on YouTube. I
Hmm.
think it's almost up to 7,000 views.
I know I
So,
put it up
not
on the
bad.
channel at least once, if not twice now for you. Always trying to
And so
share your shit up, right? That's pretty
uh,
good, man.
uh,
7,000.
yeah, I appreciate you sharing it. And we did like full on knights in armor, like Monty Python, the Holy Grail. Like, I'll get a lot of comments like, this is like Monty Python, the Holy Grail. And I say, thank you. Yes, that's what we're going for.
No,
And
perfect.
I didn't realize how talented she was and gifted. And then she's like, oh, well, I have a vocal performance degree from Berkeley School of Music. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. So she's been, yeah, she's been willing to work with this while she was juggling getting her master's degree in music therapy. And she's also got a solo career. And so we've just been
Wow, eh?
taking one step at a time and creating, just creating. That's all you can do is just to keep creating.
Yeah.
And then
No, it's so true.
fortunately, we just got all the vocals cut. So now I just have to produce them. So
Oh man, I'm excited. I'm excited. So you're thinking May 22nd for that?
May 22nd, we're going to do a live show on Twitch, World Goth Day.
Yeah,
And
man.
there's
I'm
going to be a bunch of other cool bands.
mark that in my
And
calendar.
it's sponsored. The compilation is by Broken Sound Tapes. They're out of North Carolina. You can find them on Facebook, Broken Sound Tapes. And actually, their owner is fighting cancer right now. So
Oh
he's
no
going
way.
through like treatment and stuff. So we'll send our prayers out to him.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure, man.
Michael, but he seems to be doing good. He keeps hitting me up. Hey, how's things going? Band's getting back to you. You getting videos? I'm like, yeah, things are trucking along. And he was
Hmm.
gracious enough. He mentioned, hey, would somebody be interested in doing a Twitch? And after meeting you guys, actually, I'm like, all right, I got to get a platform. So I decided to go with Twitch. Jason
Yeah.
and the Block were helpful enough to show me Restream, and I started playing with that. And we decided on Twitch, so that's where we're
Yeah,
going to
they're
stream it.
over there at their Savage Circle and Candid Conversation, I believe. The two of them goes.
Yeah, you guys got a really solid crew up there in Canada of people like that are promoting bands and that give a crap about it. That's just amazing because that's kind of hard to find here. I'm not really finding it here.
No, right? See, that's one of the main reasons why I stayed in Canada was the music scene here, man. Like, especially here in Ontario, you can go to Peterborough, Toronto, Barrie, Collingwood has a scene. Even, I know people up in North Bay that are going to be on the show soon. We have someone from Thunder Bay coming on. Like, it doesn't matter what little shit town you go to, there's fucking music. It's weird, man. I've never seen so many concerts in my life until I moved to Ontario. I started coming back again 3, maybe 4 years ago now with the pandemic and lost track of a bit of time. But I went to like the first year I went to 58 shows. I didn't even live in Canada, man. I was living down in Georgia and shit. And I was flying home every fucking chance I got to go to a concert, right? There was nothing back home. And then I ended up just staying. We went, my last festival that I flew back home, I was in Wisconsin for the railroad doing my schooling and stuff for updating all my track safety and all that shit and all my tickets. And so I flew to Chicago, or no, sorry, I flew to Ontario in the Toronto. My buddy picked me up. We drove from Ontario to Chicago, partied for the 3 days, Chicago open air, right? Seemed like 52 bands or something that weekend. Drove back to Toronto just to fly back to Wisconsin to finish my schooling, to fly to fucking Sault Ste. Marie, right? Like, so I just said, fuck it, man. I just stayed in Ontario. I finished my contract out with the railroad. I've been here ever since, man, because of
Okay.
music. Really, the main reason why I stayed was the music scene, right? Like, just phenomenal. The support you have up here is unbelievable.
Okay, it's just more like a European style appreciation of music than like in the States. Sounds
Yeah,
like. Yeah.
yeah. Like even to go to like my favorite place is the Opera House. I would go there. It didn't matter. Like we were talking earlier, it didn't matter who was playing. I'm going because I love that venue.
Yeah.
It's just hard to. Yeah, you don't have that in the States. That's something I never thought about until just now. Like being down the whole time I lived in the States on and off over the years, I've seen only like 3 shows in Georgia. That was it. You know what I mean? And then my first year in Ontario, I see 58. And it's kind of crazy, right? Like we
Yeah, I
have.
can relate. I like a show a weekend, I really look
Mhm.
forward to that. So once they did that lockdown, that was brutal, especially
Oh,
like, on my social life. I was like, "What? I can't go to shows? Like that's
that's what
how
I
I live
did,
and
right?
breathe." Like, what?
Hmm.
It's terrible.
No, I know.
So you don't have any shows in Canada right now?
Nothing, man. We can't even go see the neighbor without worrying about the fucking other neighbor calling on you and getting a fine and shit. Like it's totally weird for being in Canada. Like, we're supposed to be adults and be able to make our own decisions, right? Like, I'm not going to say where I am, but like out front, all the kids play together. They're all playing basketball. So all the kids are playing together. Doesn't matter if you go to one house or the other. Like, you all just spit on the ball and fucking, you know what I mean? Like, but no one else, no one, I don't know. I don't want to get into too much detail about it because,
Yeah.
all right. Um, I'm on the fence with it, right? I understand the precautions and stuff to a degree, but once you start taking away my freedoms, I have a little bit of a problem with that, right? I don't want to have to get a gold star just so I can travel. Like, that doesn't make sense to me, right? A special passport. Well, what's that make me better than John here, who doesn't like the whatever's going on and doesn't do it? He still should be allowed to travel. Like, that's a basic freedom. I thought. But,
Yeah, we're in uncharted times right now.
hmm
Well, I don't know if
Yep.
it is uncharted because anybody who studies history can see
How
can
many
see the
times?
writing on the wall, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
even more, it's important that we become advocates through the arts, through music and art, and like that's how it used to be. When I
hmm
grew up listening to punk rock, bands were always bitching about, government oversights or overreach or corporations taking advantage. And it seems like that is really not in the music industry anymore. Like all these like happy pop punk bands are just,
Yeah.
on TV with their bubble gum and colored hair, flavor of the week, and they
Yeah.
don't care
I
about real social issues and
because it was
important things
punk
that affect you.
that really got me kind of involved in political stuff and actually giving a shit and kind of voting when the time was right and stuff. It was punk music because of all it telling you, man, like the government's fucking you, get out there. Not, it didn't say get out there and vote, but how do you change it? You get out there and you vote and you participate, you become educated. And we actually have a really good punk band out of here, out of Peterborough, Cross Dogs, who are on May 1st, man. They're
Oh,
still
yeah?
like that, the old school. They're bitching and not that they're bitching and complaining, but the music's old school that way, where it's like deals with real today's politics and stuff like that. For what for what I've heard, it's up to date. Like it stayed with the true punk meaning of, in a sense, give the finger to everybody. Like stop fucking pushing me around. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
it'll be weird to see what the punk scene does with what's going on. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. Either that or if, yeah, I love the Dead Kennedys.
Mm.
Thanks, Alan. If, if even in the punk bands can even survive, you know what I mean? Because, playing music costs money, Either that or
Yep.
you go down to the pawn shop and get the bass guitar and the amp, but then the strings break, and then where you gonna practice? You gotta get a
No,
practice
exactly.
place, is someone gonna pay for that? And then someone can't make it to practice, so you gotta pick them up, and that's gas money. It's just,
No, it's brutal.
whatever, but if it's your passion, you gotta do it. I know you guys got, Jordan Peterson up there, and,
Yeah,
I heard him say he's got great quotes, but he was like, "If creative people aren't creating, they're miserable." And I was
that's
like, "Oh,
true.
that makes sense." Like, yeah, I can relate to that.
No, it's true though. Like as soon as you're told you can't do that or you can't do this, when that's was your outlet, what do you do now? Do I start
Yeah.
knitting? Do I take up like quilting? Like how do I pass this time, right? So I spent a lot of
Yep.
time researching on how to do Restream and how to do online stuff and figuring out the sounds and the technology part of it all, right? To stay relevant, such as yourselves having to do live concerts now, whether it's your band or any of the other amazing bands that we've had on the show, right? Like it's definitely showing who has the real passion in their music or in what they do in just general. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of people are saying that there's gonna be some amazing albums released this year
hmm
because the serious musicians have, they're starving. They've got all this time on their hands, they're miserable, they can't socialize, so
hmm
they have to pour everything into the music, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of, music comes
Like
out.
this.
Maybe in the long run, it'll turn out to be a real good thing for the music industry and maybe up the talent level or up the creativity because we all
hmm
know, like, music was getting really homogenized for a while there.
Oh yeah, it got to where I couldn't even listen to my normal radio station anymore because I could tell you the fucking song before it came on. It's like, like I have songs that I just adore and love, and I don't know the words to them, but I know every shitty song on the radio. I know every word to every one of those
Yeah,
songs. Like.
mhm.
But that's the problem. Like back in the day, you guys, like I said, you'd make your mixtape and you'd take it to the radio station, man. And the more I look and do research, there's the smaller stations that do that, but the only real big one that I know of that's doing that is well, kind of local. They just started a few years back. Is 89.1 does you can send in your music and they do Independent Artist Day and they play that throughout the day. It's all new music, right?
Mm.
But 97.7 has like 2 hours of metal after midnight, you know, at like midnight to 2 in the morning, you know, right? But that's
Yeah, I
definitely
can't
been
find that
the
here unless
no
it's
way.
college. We have college radio, but every
Yeah,
time I turn it on, it's reggae and dub, which is nothing
no.
wrong with that, but
If you're in
it's
the
rare
mood
that I
for it,
catch a metal show. Yeah, if you're in the mood for it, late night driving, sure.
yeah.
Yeah, but there's some
There's
metal
some
shows
songs,
here.
but no, I know what you mean though. Like sometimes you just want to listen to something new and good, you know.
Yeah.
It's hard to find that. Or they play one good song from the band, but yet the band has a whole album of songs that they could play. But they only I don't know if it's the rights, like how that works. Like is there fucking legal shit involved, lawyers that get involved with it? I don't know. But it really fucks over the band not being able to play their music. You get one song and we'll play it for 6 months. You know, like it just
Yeah.
kills that song, man.
Yeah, I'm hip, and then the other alternative is Spotify, and it's like,
Hmm.
nobody's making money off Spotify except the people at Spotify, unless you're
Yeah.
like Drake or something, but
I was gonna ask you guys prefer the Bandcamp as well then, 100% then, over.
yeah, I mean, we do the Bandcamp, and we release some singles on Spotify, and I
Hmm.
think the name of the game is just discovery, we're just trying to get people to discover us,
Hmm.
and, people who can resonate to liking medieval culture and
Yeah.
wanna wearing chainmail and running through the forest with a battle axe, that's what we
This guy
love.
right here, baby. I love that
Speaking of
shit.
forest parties, um,
Yeah.
so I figure there's gotta be some people out there that will resonate to that, so that's what we're doing, and,
No, there's a
you
lot
know
of us. And I actually, now that we're talking about this kind of, I have a friend over in Moscow that runs or is part of, I shouldn't say he runs because I'm pretty sure he's just part of one of the largest metal magazines over there that do a lot of goth and metal stuff. I should maybe put you guys in touch. Maybe he'll feature you guys over there as well and get one more reach out there for you.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I'd definitely be
I'll hook you up
that.
after the show. I'll send that over to you, and I'll shoot him a message letting them know that you'll be getting a hold of them and treat them good for me, right? But they'll be on
Yeah,
the show.
absolutely.
Actually, I don't have my book. I know it's next month. It might be the
Okay,
end of this month. Dark City. I'll make sure I put a post and make sure you know when they'll be on and stuff, right?
cool, yeah.
If you're not
It's,
busy that day, maybe I'll slam you in. You can co-host with me with him that night.
yeah, sure, it just depends what the date is, but
Yeah,
yeah, I
I'll
love
figure all that out.
bullshitting with you.
I love it,
We
man. You're
and all
definitely
your
one of my
peeps.
favorite guests all the time. We always
I
talk. I
appreciate
love
it.
our conversations.
I wanna say send a shout out to my, cousin Cheryl tuning in
Oh, hey,
from
how's it going?
Texas.
All the way down there, eh?
Texas is pretty awesome. I was
I
down
do
there for
like it.
South by Southwest a couple years ago, and it was a pretty good time.
I was down there on my road trip. That was one of my stops. I stopped in El Paso. I fell in love in El
Mm.
Paso, but and then a good friend of mine lives just across the border, so she come around, showed me around for a couple days while I stayed. I was only supposed to stay a day. I stayed 4 extra days, right?
Ah,
Chilled
nice.
out, man. We hit all the little local spots and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, driving through New Mexico though, that was my favorite drive though. That was so majestic, fucking
Mm.
because Arizona, I was in a rush because I left 3 days late because I got the flu right before my road trip. So I spent 3 days in bed, and then I finally got to where I could leave the house, hit the road, and then so I couldn't stop really anywhere in Arizona. I ended up having to go straight to Tucson and then do the interview with great band out of there who's going to be on the show here real soon again. No Paradise. And
Okay.
then from there, I got down to El Paso. And I was like, fuck it, I'm on vacation. Like, this is technically my vacation. So I took an extra couple days and just stayed. And her and I, we fucking toured the cities. I ate all kinds of the Mexican meals and stuff in the morning. I'd never had a Mexican breakfast before until I went to the one restaurant, eh? Yeah, that
What
was,
is a
I had to go
Mexican
back to the
breakfast?
room and chill out for a while, right? It was all like refried beans and all that good stuff, right? So my
Oh, like
body wasn't
eggs,
used
eggs
to it.
and beans.
Mm,
Yeah, the
great time,
Southwest
man.
has like a as definitely has a different vibe to it. It's
Mm,
hard to explain, but like Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, it's definitely has it's a different vibe. Feels like a
yeah,
different world.
it was though. One of my favorite pictures I ever took was in New Mexico of just the road. You know, I detoured off the main drag. I seen that interstate shortcut, so I was like, of course, boof, right? Didn't even think about it. Fucking, I got one of my favorite photographs I've ever taken was because I followed that stupid cardboard sign out in fucking New Mexico.
You see all like the armadillos and everything.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
you wouldn't even think they were real until you see one, you know? Those things are cool looking.
Yeah, I think that's one of the worst things about this pandemic is missing the travel.
Hmm.
Like travel can be like soul food, you know, and then you take that
Oh,
away and the concerts away. It's like, wow, tough
well,
times.
when I honestly, when I did my road trip, that was the best thing I ever did, man. Like I was traveling, but I was doing like the stupid resorts and doing like going to Cuba and I'm on the resort, or I'm going here, I'm on this resort. Was no fun, man. Like I'm just stuck here for 7 days now, right? But when I took off and did my road trip, that was the best thing I ever did, man. And now that's all I gotta do. Like even when I go overseas, I'll just rent a car or I'll take the train. You know,
Mm,
no more resorts for me. I want to
mm.
see those pubs and those bars and meet those people, right?
Yeah, the real character and
Hmm.
characters. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
get.
I can relate. And that's one thing that's beautiful about music when you can do shows and then you can sit at the merch table and talk to people and engage and find out what they're about and their story and you meet the most interesting people. Like, I miss that
Hmm.
so much, you know? And then you're going to a different city all the time. It's like it's the greatest lifestyle. It's just,
And the best
um
part I've noticed when you go back to that city and you see that same person buy another T-shirt, fucking just as excited to see you as they were last time, you know. I noticed my friend Tammy, she's one, my buddy Booger and my buddy Trevor. We all used to always go to shows together, and they would know us because we fucking would hit every show they were at, right? And then every time they come back, they see you while they're on stage. Oh, it's these fuckers again, right? They're at every one of our shows here, you know. So it's nice to see that though, like them recognize you. Oh fuck, we
Mm,
remember you. Like you've got to
yeah.
have moments like that when you've been touring, and then you see the same band at another show, the next city over, right? Like they're following you around, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's family. It's like your tribe, you
Mm-hmm.
know? If like you listen to terrible music like we do, it's like, you know, you're not part of the mainstream pop culture, so it's kinda like you're searching for your tribe, for other people who, like, have taste or different taste that you can relate to because what you see on TV, what you hear on the radio, what they're shoving down your throat, it's just garbage,
Yeah,
you know?
recycled garbage. That's the worst part.
Mhm.
It's like this beat from that song, but this guy sings over it now, you know. And I don't know, man. I'm with you on that. Like you don't find original music unless you go to these pubs or find these underground bands or dig down the rabbit hole a little bit, and then we find bands like yourself and In Vale, you know, Cross Dogs. Like I could go on and on. Dead Man's Prophecy, right? Like it just phenomenal bands that you'll never see. Not to say you'll never see them on the radio and shit like that, but you probably they'll become big for sure because they are fucking great. But they'll be one of those bands sort of like Machine Head and Slayer that never got any radio play. Like it wasn't
Mhm.
until the last couple of years you start to hear Pantera and shit a lot on the radio now, like, and they've been long gone for a while now. Right now, it's just Phil and the illegals or and the illegal activities or whatever his new band's called, right?
I seen speaking of Slayer, it was like behind the music or some show they were talking about Slayer at their height, at the height of their success, and I think they're talking about Dave Lombardo, the drummer, and he's like, "Yeah, I made like 70,000 and stuff, but the band grossed 4 million, and the band members don't even make 100K, and the record
No,
label's
right?
taking the other 3 million." I
Yeah,
mean, what a crock. That's what pisses me
like
off. That's why I'm like independent band, like, all right, I'm gonna figure out how to do this ourselves and not get ripped off. Like
yeah.
it's so tough. It's like a minefield. Everywhere
But
is a
every
minefield.
band you look at that, like look at GNR. I remember watching a few documentaries and reading some books on them. My cousin got me right into them with the Spaghetti album was my first introduction. But they used to have to fucking divvy up their McDonald's fries and evenly fucking divide them out amongst them while they're selling millions of albums. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
fucking unreal, man. Like how much money ruins everything, or that greed or that envy that people get. Like this, it's so hard to stay humble, especially when, say, you get that big, like Guns N' Roses or Metallica or fucking Pantera. Like you have nothing but yes men around you. Yeah, that's awesome. Everything's awesome. You do no wrong. Well, no, man. I need my buddy to slap me in the face, tell me I'm stupid sometimes. Don't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
It just seems like only those bigger echelon bands, it's even sustainable,
mm-hmm.
but the record labels are the ones making all the money. It's been like that like forever in the music industry.
Since
It's
the beginning, pretty
crazy.
much, eh? Like,
Yeah, Prince beginning, like payola and all that stuff. And
yeah.
it's like it's the industry I wanna be in, and I wanna be, making a career, but it's like, you know,
Oh,
if you
I've
get to
heard
that level,
many
you gotta
times.
sign this crazy contract. It's
Yeah.
nuts.
I've been told, yeah, many times, be prepared to be poor your whole life, is what I've heard. Yeah, sure,
Ah,
I'm
boo.
money poor, but let me tell you, man, you can't replace the stories I've had from the road, being on that road and fucking seeing these bands and being that band, like playing on that stage or fucking, it just, I wouldn't replace it for the world, man. I'd do this. I would hitchhike if I had to, if I was so poor, like it wouldn't bother me. It'd bother me because it'd be raining and snowing on me sometimes, but for the most part, I'd be happy as long as I'm doing what I feel I'm supposed to do, right?
Yeah, that's important. And that says a lot about your character that you were able
Mm-hmm.
to, hear that and recognize that. I think a lot of people are just cogs in the wheel. It's like the way the system's set up now, it's like we're Russian serfs. We're just
Mm-hmm.
serving. Like my poor singer Raven, to get her degree, it's like the cost of having a mortgage. It's ridiculous.
That's something I've never understood. You're always told, drilled in your head from when you're a kid, go to college, go to university. They don't tell you it cost you $1 million fucking dollars to go do that. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean? They
mean, it
just
didn't used to. Like, it used to
no.
be, somewhat affordable. Now it's
Mhm.
just ridiculous. Like, you have to take a loan. And then, like, if they really wanted people educated, loans would be like low percentage, like
Yeah.
0%. Oh, you want to educate yourself? Okay, here's a 0% loan. But that's not the case.
No, right?
These banks and these schools are making tons of money off people.
That's where we're screwing
And they already
ourselves
get and they get
again.
they're getting grants
Mhm.
on top of that. It's ridiculous.
You educate everybody. Fuck, you'd be living in a crazy society. Everyone would be good because everyone's educated. We know how to balance books. We know how to save money. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah, they
our
didn't.
education system. I believe needs to be a rehaul. Like we need to not so much the education system. Say where the money goes. You should be able to when you vote. I want 20% of my taxes to go to education. I want 30% to go to roads. I believe more in, say, fucking space travel. So a lot of my shit will go into that, right? And then you take all that, and then that's your budget now. This politician shouldn't be making $300,000 a year. Like that doesn't make no fucking sense to me there.
No, you're preaching to the choir here.
Hmm.
Like that, yeah, we should be able to vote where our taxpayer dollars go instead of, oh, let's, buy another $3 billion, $3 million F-16 fighter plane
Yeah, like I
that,
don't want a fighter plane.
warfare's
Right?
not even kinetic anymore. We're gonna
No.
do blow up some more civilians. Awesome. Yay.
Yay. Yeah,
Gonna
and
go build
I know,
get
right?
the
Like,
infrastructure contract. Yeah, I don't yeah, we don't wanna go down this rabbit hole.
mhm. No, we'll do a whole nother show for that. We'll create a
Yeah,
whole
like,
nother channel, you
it'll
know.
be after hours.
Yeah, maybe we'll write an
Yeah.
album on it
Mm.
together.
Yeah, it's a crock, you just gotta
Yeah.
pay attention to what's going on, but, like, a good example, like, I didn't learn finance in school. I didn't learn anything
No,
about a mortgage in school.
no,
Those are, like, a real important thing, like, my first mortgage, I totally got ripped off. It's terrible,
yeah.
terrible.
I know so many people that done that. Like, I'm kind of glad I was homeless and just wandered for most of my years. I didn't buy into the home or I didn't do this or that in that sense. On the same end, it's like, I wish I had a home. I wish I would have bought in and saved money. But yeah, to fall into that structure that everybody says you go to school, you get married, you have kids, you know,
Mm.
you get a career, it's like, huh, none of that appealed to me at all. And it was always being an outcast in that sense where I get told this and that. But yeah, I can afford to go to South Africa, I can afford to go to Cuba. You know what I mean? Like, what do you want to do in life? Depends on where your priorities lie, per se. So money was never a big thing for me. If I had $20 and it got me a bus ticket, I was happy. Oh, I can get a bus ticket. See you later. I got my $20, right?
Yeah, the experience is what's important,
Mm-hmm.
builds character and everything, but what's happening here like in the US, the dollar is so deflated. And now they're just like printing funny money, like monopoly
Yeah,
money up, like more money, more money, more money. Like
yeah.
at some point, you know,
All of a
it's
sudden,
gonna
like,
it's gonna be a nightmare. So I'm
yeah,
trying to pay attention and plan accordingly. And like, so it's like, all right, so yeah, you want to be a musician. Good luck. Like, how are
yeah.
you gonna survive?
Live in your mom's basement for your life. Save every dollar. Eat nothing but craft dinner, and you'll do
I like
it.
craft.
You'll have the money
I like
to
mac
do
and
it.
cheese.
Yeah, I love that shit. I had it the other night. I got the buffalo chicken mac and cheese one. I should have made it homemade, but I bought the pre-made one, just threw it in the oven, right? Fuck, it was actually pretty good though, man.
Like a true bachelor.
Yeah, that'll be my cooking show. I should just read the directions out loud, throw it in the oven, do a little cut take for when I pull it out. Here we go,
That would be
baby.
funny.
I gotta work on something. I got an idea now.
Well, the Block
But we
has the real cooking show. Like they cook. They like legit cook on his show.
I haven't actually been able to catch the show. I know LG's a really good cook too, right? So
Yeah.
I'll have to
Yeah,
catch it. Maybe
I honestly hate cooking. It takes so much time and effort. Oh boy.
I like to
But
cook when there's people there. I don't like to cook for myself. That's why I'll buy or I'll eat fucking cereal for 3 days until someone comes by. I'll be, oh, dude, slice up this chicken, do my Alfredo sauce. But food's a very social thing for me, right? When you sit down, originally the show, it's to sit down and have dinner, and the interview happens over dinner because that's when you have your best conversations while you're
that's a
all
good
eating
point.
and you're drinking, and that's was the big purpose of my show when I first started, right? And then when I met Jay and them, we started doing the cooking with LG and tossed that idea, man, and they ran with it. Fuck, like you said, they're cooking up some amazing shit over there, right? So
Yeah. That's a good point. Like breaking bread, like sociable.
mm,
That probably doesn't happen enough. That's for sure.
no, nobody. even you take the average family, how many families eat together anymore? Right? No. The kids are watching YouTube in their room or they're playing games and eating fucking while they're playing games, the parents are doing whatever, right? Very rare does anybody sit down and eat together anymore. And I believe that's a lot what our both countries are missing, right? Like you get together what at Thanksgiving, maybe Easter, which we haven't even been able to do in the last 2 years. Nobody's eating together anymore, man. Like you go to drive past McDonald's, it's nothing but drive through, like fucking cars lined up like mad, right? Like,
Oh, if you have that Chick-fil-A around you,
oh, I
that
wish.
thing is like crazy packed. Every time I drive by it, they've got like 3 checkout lanes and they got people outside taking
Yeah,
orders. I'm
man.
like,
Like
what the heck is going on there?
nobody
What's on
sits and
that chicken?
just eats together anymore. Like some of my favorite memories are eating and being with people and like conversation you have, right? If you think about it, like
Yeah, I can remember. Now that
so
you mention it, I can remember some meals that were really cool, you know?
uh, and it started with that meal and then the conversation that flowed and now it was just an amazing time, right? But that's
Now we
why
have
when
to
I
do it over
do
the internet.
no, when I'm doing the cooking show, I'm planning on once I'm able to travel and whatever, I'm gonna come to your house and we'll do the cooking show in your kitchen. You know what I mean? Like, and then we eat the meal, we chill out for the night. Next couple days later, I've got another tour. I gotta go cook with this guy, right, or this woman, or fuck whoever's on the show. Kind of make a tour and cooking show with the band thing all at the same time.
I had a friend who's a chef, and she got hired to do, the metal festivals in, like, Germany, like, to
Oh,
cook for all the bands, and,
oh
she
wow.
said it was a nightmare because if the barbecue was down or something, all the
Mm.
bands are pissed, but she liked it so much, she ended up moving over there.
No way.
Yeah,
I've heard
she's in Germany now.
you don't need a work visa or something. I got a couple friends over.
Mhm.
They've been bugging me. Why don't you just move here, move here? I'm like, I'm not. I know I'm a nomad and I wander around, but I'm pretty familiar with the U.S. and Canada, right? So I'm pretty comfortable in this country. I
Yeah.
don't know if I could just pick up my knapsack and my guitar and just head over there right now. But we'll see. Maybe one day.
Yeah, we'll see.
Definitely
I
be
mean,
visiting.
times are definitely changing, so
Mhm.
maybe not all for the better, we'll find out, so,
Yeah.
yeah, just, yeah, it's just
Yeah.
crazy, whatever.
Yeah.
What can you do? It's good that we could connect and talk and kinda
No,
talk it through because no one else is telling us the truth, you know?
no, I know.
Who's telling
That's
you what's going on, good or
or
bad.
they're telling you the truth, but it's drowned out in all this bullshit that's coming from the other side. It's like, who the fuck do you listen to here? You know what I mean? That's
I
almost the
think that's the
problem
one.
with the internet, like the pros and cons of it all. There's I love the information factor of it all, but there's too much information.
Well, I think that's the pure beauty of music, it's subjective and, the listener gets what they get out of it, but there's a payoff, you know?
Hmm.
And it's not like a great expense. It's, I don't know, the language of the universe for you to enjoy, and
Yeah.
if it doesn't resonate with you, then you don't have to listen to it, you can move on to something that does resonate with you, so I
No.
think that's the beauty
Well,
of
that's the
music and art.
music, even
Bye,
art,
Cheryl.
even when you see something in that sense, then it's it's a vibration, man. It's almost like that magic vibration when you hear music. Like, doesn't matter who you are, if you hear that note or that right song, your foot starts tapping, your head starts bobbing. Whether you're in a shit mood, you're in a good mood, you still start for that split second. You know what I mean? It takes you away somewhere that nothing else does. It just takes you to that amazing place.
Yeah, music definitely creates a mood for sure.
Mm.
Absolutely. You know, if I put on like a hardcore punk album, it's a different vibe than if I listen to like an Iron Maiden or
Hmm.
like we were talking about like dub or reggae or something, you know.
Yeah, right. Like
Definitely
it's
mood,
not
yeah.
it's not that I don't listen to it. I just have to be in the mood to hear. Like the only one that comes to mind right now is Bob Marley, just because he's the fucking godfather of it all, right? But like you'd probably know a few extra.
Oh, what reggae
You're right
bands?
on the spot. Yeah, put you right on the spot.
There was a minute there I was like when I was DJing, I would do some reggae sets and I had like this was when I was using vinyl and they were like just like custom DJ mixes like white labels that there'd only be like
Hmm.
100 press that if you got to the record store in time to get it, you'd get it. And uh I like Beanie Man.
Yeah,
Um I like that song Murder She Wrote. I guess like the classic
love
reggae
that
stuff that
TV
you might
show.
hear in a club that was
Yeah,
like
yeah, just sitting chilling,
good
whether
vibe
it comes on
stuff.
the jukebox or it's a chilling
Yeah,
band just jamming away, right?
good vibe stuff. And like I,
Yeah,
I liked how the Clash had kind of that little almost reggae feel sometimes to it because
yeah,
like
they did too, eh?
I guess dub was really big back then with all like the musicians when they were like
Hmm.
just creating their music. So there was that little bit of influence in there. UB40,
True.
sure, in that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fuck, man, it's been amazing talking to you tonight, man. But
Yeah,
I don't
right
know,
on, brother. Yeah, I
we're
really
almost an
appreciate
hour
it.
and a half, but I didn't even notice till just now. I was like, I think we've been almost fucking 40 minutes here. Been phenomenal,
Well, it's
man. So before
it's
we
it's
go, you've got to tell us, where do we find your merch? Hold up your album cover again for like to see that again.
yeah, there's a story behind the album cover. So it was done by
Oh,
a
go
Polish
on.
artist. Her name was Claudia Bezik, and
Yeah.
she's an up and coming artist in Poland, and she does a lot of gaming gaming companies use her. And
Oh, yeah.
so if like you see our video on YouTube, if you go to Dispel, we've got the knight in the video, and we've got the plague doctor and Raven sees like the
Oh,
sorceress.
nice.
We're trying to do like characters and stuff because yes, we're that
Yeah.
big nerds.
Yeah. Hey, man. I was on most of your D&D stuff, but that's how I became one of your top fans on your page, actually. Was
I
following that
posted
stuff, right?
Dungeon and Dragons. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, we're at dispelmusic.com. And if you go on dispelmusic.com, there's a big red arrow that says get our EP for free. So if you just give us your email, give us a place to send it, we'll send you a free EP, 3-song EP. And yeah, we'd love to have you. Merch is on
Fuck, that'd
there,
be awesome.
everything's on there. I do a bunch of blogs where I talk about D&D and how it influenced the band. I
Yeah.
talk about Dante's Inferno, what it's about, a little bit of the background of Dante because his story is super interesting. He had to leave Florence back in the Middle Ages. They were going to burn him at the stake. And then he
Yeah.
writes
Wow.
Dante's Inferno, which it's crazy that he didn't get burned at the stake as a heretic for writing something like that about hell,
Yeah, that's
so
true, right?
really inspired us like
That's true.
yeah, it's cool stuff, but, looks like you got a good crew, like, all these people, like, chiming in,
Yeah,
Marie,
man.
Kevin, Sarah, Alan, even my cousin chimed in, Jamie
Oh,
chimed
that's
in,
awesome.
so, with this, it's one fan at a time, it's one new
No,
friend,
it's true.
it's someone to connect with, one person at a time, and then they
Which
tell
is
a friend, like, "Hey, this band's cool, and they're down to earth, and,
kind of
they're
where,
doing it for the right reasons."
yeah, where we're at with the channel here. Like, I've never advertised the channel. I've never paid to have it fucking broadcast anywhere. It's always been word of mouth. And the last year, I would say a year and a half, I guess, since everything started, people have been watching. It's weird. And we've just gone up and up. If I look, we're probably right close to 2,000 followers now. And then I don't know how many likes or whatever, how that goes. I'll have to check that out, man. But it's definitely been growing exponentially in the last year. And then, but it shows the effort we've had to put in getting the restream going, being able to pull up the links like mud wipes for all your filthy needs or whatever it is, right? Brandon might pull it up. Did he? Yep, there it is, baby, for all your dirty deeds, right? Like that's an inside joke at work, man. I'll tell you about that when I backstage, right? I work construction, so you can only imagine, right?
Yeah. Cool.
But
All right,
well,
TJ. Well, it's been awesome, man. I'm gonna cut
yeah,
out
man.
and work on some
Yeah,
studio stuff. I'm
I gotta.
actually connecting with this this group out of Belfast, Ireland called We
Oh wow.
Gamers. So I'm gonna do an interview with them. I promised them. So yeah.
Oh fuck, that's awesome, man. Well, I know you're real busy. I know you guys just crushed off the last locals of the album, and then you jumped right on with us. I'm honored to be the first. Good luck tonight. Good luck in the future, and you're always welcome. We'll stay in touch, buddy, and
Yeah,
I'll send you
absolutely.
over the information about that magazine overseas there for you.
Awesome. Well, goodbye to Marie, Kevin, Sarah, and Alan. You guys rock, and Jamie and my cousin
Oh, they're all
Cheryl.
awesome.
So, yeah, you guys all rock, and Brandon for keeping it smooth on the technical end of things.
Yes, thank you.
Later, brother. Rock
Later,
on.
man.